to our boot camp. Normally, this is the first Friday of every month. This month, we did it a little bit different only because we had a holiday that last Friday, or kind of a holiday. So we moved today's boot camp to the 12th. So want to thank everybody for joining us in the middle of summer. Typically, our boot camps in the summer are a little bit slower as everybody is vacationing. But we have lots of great content we want to share with you today. I like to start off by reminding everybody that our boot camps are always open to real estate agents from any real estate firm. So although you'll see LAER on some of the items here, please note that the program is designed so regardless what real estate brokerage you work at, you are going to get as much today out of today's program as an agent at LAER Realty. The tools, the training, the marketing stuff, we're going to share with you tens of thousands of dollars worth of marketing stuff, listing presentations, buyer presentations, pre-listing presentations, you name it. We're going to give you everything you need to run a highly successful real estate business. And that is for everybody, regardless what brokerage you work for, you're going to get the same amount of content today as agents of LAER Realty. So with that, I want to just give a little bit of an introduction into who we are and why we prepare this program each month. LAER Realty is an independent real estate company. We have 800 real estate agents throughout Massachusetts, New Hampshire, now Maine. So welcome to all of our Maine agents who are joining us today, as well as Florida. And we are 10 years old. We started 10 years ago. Where we got the name LAER is at the time, we were leaving a franchise in order to start the independent brokerage. And our goal was to help agents live their best life possible and achieve huge goals. So at the time, I had hired a branding agency and they asked, what is the goal? I said, we're going to attract and grow great real estate agents. And the branding firm asked, what makes a great real estate agent? And I said, the best real estate agents are strong. They're negotiators of difficult terrain, just meaning that the best real estate agents are really good at overcoming obstacles. And then the best agents are truly protectors of their clients. They don't focus on the money. They focus on how do I help people? So with that in mind, the three things that make a great real estate agent: strong, negotiator, protector. The branding agency said, go put those words into a Google search and see what comes up. So we put the words into a search and the first thing that came up was a lion. So we said, that's it. We're going to build our brand around the lions of real estate. In the jungle, lions hang out in layers. In the real estate world, the lions of real estate are at LAER. We changed the spelling of LAER because ours is the mirror image of real, since we're in the real estate business. And then we created the acronym Local Agents Extraordinary Results. So I tell people that sometimes when you're driving by a house, you see lions right next to the walkway or right by the front door. That is because the lion is a symbol of protection for the home. We look at it that there's a new symbol of protection for real estate across New England and Florida, and that is the LAER for sale sign. So with that, we started 10 years ago. We now have 800 real estate agents throughout New England and Florida. Sorry for the crazy light in here today, but it'll only last for about 15 minutes as the sun changes it or moves through the trees. So started 10 years ago. We have 800 agents. We help about 3,000 families a year buy and sell real estate. And from the very beginning, because it was our focus to help real estate agents achieve their best lives possible, we decided to open up everything we do, from our training, our marketing, everything that we do, to all real estate agents, the real estate agents that join our brokerages and the real estate agents that we work with every day. We're in a really interesting business because we cooperate with other real estate agents to get transactions done. And that is why we open up everything we do. And that is why, even if you are not a LAER real estate agent, you are going to get tons of content today. So this is a 3-hour program. I always say we'll try to end it a little bit early, but very rarely do we leave very early at all, because there's just so much content to cover in the 3 hours. What I will promise you is that you're going to get tons of usable stuff, things that you can utilize for your business effective immediately. Now, speaking of utilizing the tools and stuff that we're going to talk about today, since you are spending a whole morning with us, we do not want that to go to waste. We want you to embrace all of the stuff that you're going to learn in the next 3 hours. Now, what can easily happen, and we've seen it with real estate agents, is that you go to a class and you sit and you're like, wow, this is all great stuff. And you leave and you do nothing with it. That's no good. That means you wasted 3 hours or an entire morning. You could have gone out and had coffee with a friend or breakfast with family. In order for this to benefit you, we want to make sure that you are taking notes throughout the program, and that you identify, as we go through the program, the things that you're going to execute on in order to further improve your real estate business. I always recommend 5 to 10 items. So have a piece of paper available, and at the very top of the paper, you're going to write, these are the things I'm executing on, numbers 1 through 10. And then when you leave today's program, you start checking them off the list. By the way, we make it so easy for you to execute on everything, because we're going to hand you most of it completed, like a listing presentation and a buyer presentation. We're going to give it to you all done. So it's not that you'll have to leave and create a buyer presentation today. No, you'll have to leave and customize a buyer presentation. That's the difference. Creating a buyer presentation is a 7 or 8 hour project if you want a really good buyer presentation. We've already created wonderful tools for you to utilize. So all you have to do is customize. That's like a 20-minute to a half-hour amount of work. So we're going to make it very easy for you. But that being said, we don't want you to leave today and not execute on things. So 5 to 10 items that you want to execute on today. I'm going to make suggestions throughout the program on things that you should be executing on if you have not already incorporated these items into your business. Now, the other piece I like to point out is that we just have so much content that we're going to cover today that many real estate agents come back every month. So this program is offered once a month. It's typically the first Friday of every month. So if you go through today's program and either you leave a little bit early or you write down your 10 items and then you go throughout the month and you execute on those items, you can always come back next month as well. We record these. So one of the first things I would tell you to go execute on, as I like to remind our agents, knowledge is not power, execution is power. Knowledge is potential. Execution is money. It is supporting your family and your loved ones. So we're going to focus on the execution today. First thing you want to execute on is to head over to our YouTube station. It's youtube.com/LAER, LAER training, youtube.com/LAER training, and subscribe. The reason for that is that YouTube will just do a little notification on your phone every time we upload new content. That way, after today's program, you'll get a little notification that the boot camp has been uploaded to YouTube. It's just kind of like a little reminder to go back, and if there's something you need to review, you can review it. As well, throughout the month, we add all kinds of new content constantly. So by subscribing to the YouTube station, it's just much harder for you to end up missing something. So it's youtube.com/LAER, LAER training. Now, let's start digging into some content. What you guys are looking at on the screen right now is the LAER Program and Services Guide. This is a 40-page booklet we use to help our agents know the tools, the training, and the technology available at LAER. Again, even if you're not a LAER agent, I can see we're about half the people watching today, both on Zoom and on our live stream. About half of you are LAER agents and half of you are with other brokerages. You're going to get as much out of today, regardless whether you're a LAER agent or an agent at another brokerage. You're going to get as much today as a LAER agent. So the reason why we have this booklet is it's a nice organized way for our agents to know what resources they have available to them. So the trajectory of the booklet will kind of follow along today. And by the way, any agent can download this booklet. It's laerrealty.com/success tools. So laerrealty.com/success tools. When you get to that page, you'll see the booklet right there. You can also scroll to the bottom of the page and you will see a PDF version of this guide. Just click on the PDF, download it, and print it out so that you have at your fingertips. It's also great for taking notes throughout today. The cool thing about the PDF version of this book is that anytime you see something underlined, that's a link to more information. So there's tons and tons of embedded links to classes and marketing pieces, etc., throughout this success guide. So let's dig in. The first few pages of the booklet are the LAER cultural values. We put these everywhere, especially when agents are considering joining a brokerage. We always say the best thing to do is make sure that your values align with the values of the brokerage you're going with, only so that you'll be there for a long time. It's just easier to run your business when there's consistency and you know you're going to be there for a while. Secondly, it talks a little bit about the fact that we are an independent brokerage. That just means we are not a franchise. We're proudly independent. What makes us a little bit unique is that we are independent, but we do a lot of business. So we are consistently, every year, we're rated on the Real Trends 500 and the Riz Media Power Broker Report of the largest brokerages in the country. And which is rare only because we're independent, whereas most of the companies that are ranked on these lists are massive franchises. So super proud of the fact that our little independent company does a lot of business. Okay. From here on out, the book is divided into 4 sections. We're going to spend the first part of the morning talking about marketing and branding. We have been very intentional with how we organized the booklet based on what seems to matter most to real estate agents in their business. So each section of the 4 sections is divided just as you see it. There'll be a big page marking it. We have marketing and branding is the first section. The second section is technology. The third section is training and coaching. And the fourth is administrative support. Agents right now are very focused on marketing and branding, especially around some of the stuff happening in our industry, around buyer agency, etc. Don't worry, we've got you covered on all of it. So we're going to cover all of that, especially in the marketing and branding section. So let's dig in. First, we are going to spend a little bit of time this morning exploring LAERagentservices.com. So this is our agent dashboard. This is where LAER agents spend a great deal of their time each week exploring marketing pieces, training pieces, creating brochures. We're going to take you over to explore it. And as I said, even if you are not a LAER agent, you're going to get as much out of today's program as if you were an agent of the brokerage. You're going to get everything, including you can get access to LAERagentservices.com. So LAER, L-A-E-R, agentservices.com. This is our agent dashboard. This is kind of the hub of our company. So you'll notice I did not log in a username or password. I just clicked on it, which means that's what all of you can do as well. You do not need a username and password to access any of our stuff. We make it open to agents anywhere. Okay, let's take a quick overview of what's on this page. Now, what you'll see, all of our buttons are houses. So we're in the business of exploring real estate. We love going out and visiting houses and seeing what's inside each house. So you'll see all the buttons here. It allow you to go explore real estate. So you can click on each house and it's going to take you to more information to explore for your business. So I do want to point out that there's also right at the top, just kind of like a table of contents. And there's a couple things up here that we think are super helpful for our agents. One is if you are a LAER agent, you guys know we have 40 plus offices and we have staff that cover those offices throughout the week. So if you have a customer that's dropping something off or you want to go drop something off, you want to know, is there a staff member in the office if somebody drops off a check, for example. You just click right here, the Happy Agent Host Schedule, and that's going to tell you which staff members are in which office throughout the week. Next, the LAER newsletter. So this is for LAER agents. As you guys know, we put out a monthly newsletter of everything that's happening within our company. So announcements, births, accomplishments. This is taking a little bit of time. I think this is just my internet that's taking it so long to load. We'll come back to that in a second, as soon as it loads. So the newsletter goes out internally once a month. I always say to our agents, oh, I can see that it's opening. By the way, it's a 4-page newsletter and it's all just stuff happening within the brokerage each month. So you can go look at past issues. The reason we tell agents at our company to read this every month is not only do you find out what's happening, who's joining our brokerage, what's happening in the lives of our agents. So you'll see, by the way, when you get to this page, you can actually read the newsletter. Also, you can, down at the bottom, click to download a PDF of it if you want to print it out. Also, you'll see our admins leave these at the front desk. So when you visit an office, you'll see our newsletter so you can see what's happening in the company. But the reason why agents like this, you can find out what's happening in the lives of your fellow real estate agents, but also all of our committees that meet regularly, our tech committee, our training committee. They report back to us stuff that they're working on, and then we report it back into this newsletter. So it is absolutely worth just printing out a copy, or if you're at an office, grab a copy of it and see what's happening in the lives of your fellow agents and what some of the initiatives that we're working on at LAER. So that's our LAER newsletter that goes out monthly. Most of these other tools that you'll see across the top are also down at the bottom. So we're going to start scrolling down because everything else that's up here is also down below. So at the very top of the LAER Agent Services, you're going to find a section for recently joined agents. We put that right at the top because we do add a lot of agents every month, and they're the ones that have not yet had the opportunity to explore the LAER Agent Services. So we put their stuff right at the top. The very first button here is the Program and Services Guide, which is the booklet we were just looking at and that we will go back to shortly. So you can download your copy of the Program and Services Guide here. Also, there's a section of just frequently asked questions. If you're a LAER agent, you guys know that if you ever need anything, the best way to get support from any staff member at our company is just email our helpline, which is happyagent@laerrealty.com. You'll get a response 7 days a week. And but sometimes you just have a quick question and you say, maybe I'll head over here and just see if it's something that I can get answered quickly. And then also we have some great marketing pieces called Tell the World. These are like social media announcements, letters. This is just some ways that agents can notify their customer base that they have made the change to LAER. You'll also see as we start scrolling down that we introduce you to new agents that are joining throughout our New England and Florida offices. Then, by the way, if you click on these, you can learn about that agent as well. So you click on the picture and you'll find a little bio about each person joining the brokerage. Okay, next up is the biggest and most important part of the resources that agents use on a regular basis. So as we get down to marketing, branding, and presentations, this is where our agents spend the most amount of time on the site. The button that gets the most clicks of all the houses here, the house that is most visited on a weekly and monthly basis, is this guides, presentations, and brochures. So you can click on here and let's have a conversation about the literally tens of thousands of dollars worth of content that you have access to right here. Okay. This is all marketing stuff for agents, or I should say more branding stuff for real estate agents. Now, 99.99% of the stuff you're going to find under the marketing section is built with Canva. Hopefully Canva sounds very familiar to you in your business. I feel like Canva is one of the most important tools for your real estate business. So Canva is a marketing platform for laymen. What I mean by that is many years ago, when our company used to create marketing pieces for agents, like listing presentations and buyer presentations, etc. When we used to create pieces for our agents, we would use Adobe. The problem with Adobe, in case some of you are not familiar with it, is somebody that has not been trained in Adobe can absolutely not go in and just start customizing their piece. Whereas in Canva, we create all the marketing stuff for you. And you can go in and further customize it. You can go in and add your photo and add your contact information. That was really difficult the old way, which was using like Photoshop and Adobe. Like you had to really take some in-depth classes to understand how to use the old tools. The new tools make it so easy that we can create beautiful materials, just as beautiful as the stuff that we used to create through Adobe, but also you can click on it and it's so simple for you to add a photo or change out a photo or add contact information to our pieces. So as you scroll down here, you're going to see tons of pieces that you can use. Buyer presentations, listing presentations. I'm going to take you on a tour of a few of them that I think are super important in light of what's happening in today's market and in our industry today with the upcoming changes and things like that. So if you click on any of these, except for there's one here that's a video. We recently had a video created to help explain to sellers why they should be willing to pay a buyer agent fee. So this is a video. You can feel free to go check that out and use it. It's our way of helping our agents explain to the seller the value of paying a buyer agent. All the other stuff on here is a Canva template. So that means that when you open a Canva template, so let's do open template. When you open a Canva template, this says use template for a new design. When you open a template in Canva, it becomes yours. So you're no longer stuck. Like it's not, you're not changing anything that is on the original version of the template. So you don't have to worry about, maybe you're with a different company and you want to take this understanding buyer agency booklet that we created and you want to change out the logos or your contact information. The next person who goes and clicks on that template, they're not going to see your information. It's going to look exactly like this. So that's the beauty of Canva. It's this idea that we can create templates for you. So when you open any of our templates, and there's tons and tons of them, you will see that you can just click on anything and start changing it. You can take out stuff. You can delete your logo and change your logo. You can change the colors. You can change the look and feel. So this is one that we just added in the last few days in response to our agents just wanting like a nice simple document to explain to a consumer about why they need a buyer agent. So it talks about the August 17th rules, creating transparency, why a consumer needs a buyer agent, 80 things that our agents do when working with an agent. I do want to just spell out one caveat here because I know we have some Florida agents on today. Florida and New England are a little bit different. So Florida agents typically do transaction brokerage, little different. Typically, you're not representing someone. You might have a buyer agency agreement, but it's not fiduciary. So no matter what, every real estate agent, if you're going to use these documents, just read through, like specifically on this, the 80 things I do for you. Just go through it and make sure that that's stuff that you actually do or you can do based on the state that you're working in. And you can customize. So if there's something you can't do, then you can just change it out with something else. We then explain how buyer agents are compensated. So seller offers a concession, which is what happens most of the time, negotiating the commission, and buyer to pay for a buyer's agent. Those are the three different ways that buyer agents get paid. We also, by the way, we didn't fill this into the different, one of the things we've been noticing with real estate agents is many agents are offering like 3 different levels of commissions. By the way, if you don't want to do that, you can just delete the whole page. You don't have to include this page. But we said, okay, there are agents that are offering these different packages for buyer agency. These are not accurate. So you have to go through and determine what you would offer in each of these if you're going to have like levels of what you're going to offer. So that's just like a little 11-page document on buyer agency, and that one was just added. Another one we added just in the last week is many agents want like just a document to help explain to the seller why they should be paying a buyer agent commission. So you'll see there's a little spot up here for you to drag and drop your photo in, and it tells like the reasons why the seller should consider paying for a buyer agent. Let's see, we have a seller net proceeds sheet, rooftop solar abuses. You guys will get to meet our chief sustainability officer later. We do a lot of different stuff around sustainability for agents that are really want to focus on sustainability as one of the niches for their business. So you'll see in our whole LAER Agent Services that we have sectioned off a lot of stuff for agents that focus on that. We also have a green agent marketing video. We then have a buyer presentation. These are all like booklets and presentations, and literally there's tons of them to choose from. So this one's a guide, LAER guide to buyer representation. We have these for that's the New England version. We also have Florida versions. We have them as presentation. We have them as buyer guides. So you'll see that we have these in all different formats. And really it's up to you to kind of go through and explore and customize the pieces that you need. One of the things I like about, for example, the buyer representation presentation, so first of all, I would say if I had polled many real estate agents 1 year ago, I believe that many agents did not have a buyer presentation 1 year ago. Now I believe that most real estate agents have a buyer presentation, or you will need one very quickly, because as real estate agents, we were always used to having a listing presentation. That was like common for us. And it was common for us because we were asking the seller to commit to us. We're asking them to commit to us by signing a listing contract. Many agents didn't have a buyer presentation because they weren't asking a buyer to commit to them. Nothing was getting signed. This is not across the board. Many agents have been using buyer contracts for a long time. Some of the states we work in, like New Hampshire, they've always required a buyer contract. So, but the majority of agents that at our firm, at least, were not using buyer contracts. So because there was no commitment on behalf of the buyer, there was no reason to have an actual presentation of the value proposition. Well, that's all changing. So now you will have to have a buyer presentation because you are asking the consumer to make a commitment to you. So you have to have a buyer presentation. This is just one. I'm going to share this in a format to make it a little easier to read. By the way, it's 100% customizable. So when you open it as your template, again, you can change out the colors, the pictures, etc. One thing I want to point out, just in case we have anybody on here who's not super familiar with Canva, there are 2 versions of Canva. So we have a paid version and a free version of Canva. Everything that you will see on our site, you can open and use with a free version of Canva. However, you're going to have to do a little extra work if you're using the free version of Canva. Here's why. The paid version of Canva, and I believe it's $15 a month. The paid version of Canva gives you some extras. The biggest extra, in my opinion, that the paid version offers is that you can get all these stock images. So a stock image is like this house you see right here, this blue house. I'll show you some of the other stock images, like You might need a stock image of a family moving into a house with moving boxes. Super important. I will tell you that you can't just pull images off Google when you're making your marketing pieces, because you're opening yourself up to liability. So you have to pay for nice images. We're in a marketing business as real estate agents. So this is one of the reasons I say that you should have the paid version of Canva. If you're taking your job very seriously, then you are a marketer at heart, and you should pay for the $15 per month for Canva. That being said, sometimes agents just don't have the money. You just don't have the money, then you'll want the free version. You can still use like our buyer presentations and seller presentations. You can open them all and utilize them all. What will happen is, if there is an image on so let's just say this house that you see in the background, this blue house. If that is an image that our team utilized and had access to, because ours was the paid version of Canva, and then you open the template and you're using the free version of Canva, you're going to see a big watermark across this image. It's going to say Canva on it. So it also won't let you download. When you're done with your presentation, you're probably going to want to download it into a format that you can print or share with your consumer. So what you will have to do is change the image. So it only takes 10 seconds to do that. You'll just need to have a photo that you can use. Maybe you have a ton of beautiful photos because you're in the real estate business. You can upload a photo that you own. As well, Canva does give, even under the free version, they do give you some free images. So you can just change out the photo. If you see a watermark, which you will only see if you're using the free version of Canva, you will see that sometimes on our templates. All you have to do is change out that photo, either use an image that Canva gives you under the free version, or you can upload one of your own photos of a property, for example, that you sold. So that's my 2-second pitch on why you should have the better version of Canva for the $15 per month. Okay, so let's take a look at this buyer presentation. You'll see all of our marketing pieces have an area like this, where you put your name, your contact info, and you upload your photo. So this little section here is for your photo. We have an About Me section. So this is where you do your bio about who you are. And by the way, we give you a link on there. We have our own bio generator. By the way, you can use it even if you're not a LAER agent. It does not matter. And it will ask you some questions. It has some prompts on there for you to answer, and it will create the bio for you. Then we go through, there's some info in here about LAER. So obviously, if you're not a LAER agent, you would not utilize some of this. But you would just customize this for yourself. Add some client feedback. And then we have 10 steps to buying a home. So you'll see we have evaluation, consultation, and representation, which is the very first part of the presentation. Do I need a buyer's agent? And we explain why. How agents are paid. So we address how the buyer agency fee gets paid, and that most likely it is going to be negotiable and something that the seller can assist with. The buyer representation contract, what each side agrees to. By the way, we recommend that you put the actual contract within the presentation. Now, you might not be, this is a Massachusetts version of a buyer contract. You would take this out and put in whatever buyer contract you're using, so that you can, it's kind of a prompt to go through it with the consumer. Any other forms that you would be using. So we put some examples in there, but you would customize that with whichever forms you're using. It then goes into price range, evaluating mortgage options, shop for more than just interest rate, getting pre-approved versus pre-qualification, what is mortgage insurance, step 3, how to evaluate the communities, how to shop for a home. This is an important one. So we embed into all of our presentations a little information about Zillow. So my personal take on this is that Zillow is a plague for our industry, because they are selling our information. There is no Zillow without the inventory provided by real estate agents. So we want to make sure our consumers are steering away from Zillow. So in the buyer presentation, and by the way, if you're not comfortable talking about this, you could take it out. But we tell our agents that have the conversation with the consumer that they should not be doing their home search on Zillow. The reason for that is we list all the reasons. Number one, it's not even a great search platform. They can't do a very detailed search because Zillow is not in the business of helping the consumer find the property they want. So if you actually go in and play with Zillow as if you were a buyer, you will note that it doesn't have great search capability. Secondly, they don't update right away. So the consumer, of course, falls in love with a property that went under agreement a week ago. The consumer often thinks they're contacting the listing agent, which they are not. That estimates are inaccurate. And most importantly, they're going to get inundated by sales calls if they decide to shop on Zillow. So we just put kind of a little piece in there to remind the consumer why they should not be shopping for a property on Zillow. And that leads you into where they should shop, which is whatever app you're using. At LAER, we recommend Real Scout. Real Scout is our version of Zillow, where they're not going to get contacted by salespeople and things like that. So we talk about what to do if they see an open house or an off-market property. We talk about due diligence, pricing and offer strategies, bidding wars, writing the offer, rejected offers, accepted offers, inspections, beyond the inspection, what happens to do if there's too many repairs, what's a home warranty, appraisal and mortgage contingencies, the appraisal, preventing mortgage declines, homeowners insurance, and then the closing. Final walkthrough, closing documents, and this is what I want you guys to know, is that I'm not going to do this with every document that we have because we have tons of pieces. This was the buyer presentation. We have an equally detailed listing presentation. And we have high performance homes. If you're into like sustainability, we have high performance home buyer presentations and seller presentations. The reason I want to show you this particular one is for a couple of reasons. Number one, you have to have a buyer presentation now. So if you do not already have a buyer presentation, this is number one on the list of things you're going to go execute on. The buyer presentation. You must have a buyer presentation because you are going to be asking buyers to sign an agreement with you in order to go show them real estate. So you want that consumer to feel like, wow, I'm in really good hands right now. So this is number one on the things that you should be executing on if you do not have a buyer presentation. Number one, when you leave today, you're going to go customize this buyer presentation. Secondly, I want you to see how detailed these are. These are not like just something we threw together quickly that looks really nice. The stuff that we put onto our site we labor over. We spend hundreds of man hours putting really good content together. This is a killer buyer presentation. Your buyer is going to feel very, very, very comfortable signing an agreement with you when you have spent all this time detailing the process. I always like to remind agents that we're in the business of creating clarity for our consumers. The reason that we provide value to buyers and sellers is because they don't exactly know the process. So our job is to create clarity. These presentations that we're creating or have created are they create clarity. They make people feel comfortable making a decision. The third piece I want you to think about, and you're going to see this theme even with some of our training and stuff, is there's a wonderful book by Atul Gawande, and it's called The Checklist Manifesto. And the idea behind the book is that in industries, even from like doctors who are performing critical operations on patients to airline pilots, they work off of very specific checklists. So the doctors who are performing operations work off of a checklist because a lot of the little things that they do, even in preparation for a surgery for someone, the little things they do, they're easy to forget and to not do. So for example, the whole beginning of the checklist manifesto just talks about the importance of everybody in the operating room washing their hands before and after the surgery. Washing the hands is like the #1 way to prevent like infection, but it's so simple. It is way too easy to forget. So the checklist manifesto is all about like creating checklists for your business and your life so that you don't forget the simple things. This buyer presentation is your checklist manifesto. The listing presentation is your checklist. We have buyer guides and seller guides. These are your checklists. So by having the checklist, it creates a system so that you're checking off a box as to the things that the consumer should be thinking about when buying or selling a home. One story I like to share is that several years ago, one of our agents called me and she was so upset because she had lost a listing to somebody else, to a competitor. Meaning she went and competed to get the listing and she didn't get it, the competitor got it. So the agent called the seller and said, is there anything I could have done to have you have hired me? She was just curious, like, what could I do better next time? And the consumer said, oh, we thought you were wonderful. The only reason we hired the other agent is because she does a lot of community service. So the agent who lost the listing, our LAER agent, I have to tell you, of all of our agents, if I had to rank them by the amount of community service they do, she does more than anybody else in the whole company. Like literally in her spare time, on weekends, she volunteers at a wildlife sanctuary. Throughout the week, in between appointments, she's picking up dogs that are being fostered by families. So she like moves foster dogs around the state. Every year for the last 20 plus years, she's walked the 26-mile cancer walk. I mean, constant. She is raising money, helping people, helping the community. So this agent who is like driven by community service and giving back lost a listing to another agent who does not even do a fraction of what this agent does. And she was like so upset. And I said, oh, well, did you talk about the stuff you do for the community within your listing presentation? And the agent said, no, I never bring it up. And I said, well, it should be in your listing presentation then. That's the gift that you got out of losing this listing. The gift is that if you're not talking about it, then, and it matters to the consumer, you're going to lose a listing over it. So these listing presentations or buyer presentations, these are things that the consumer cares about. And it's just like checking stuff off the list just to make sure you cover stuff that it's easy for us to forget about because we live and breathe real estate. We forget that we should remind the customer not to go take out a new car loan or to change jobs while they're in the middle of buying a house. All of it is embedded into these presentations. It is the checklist manifesto. So that's just one. That's one of our buyer presentations. And again, these are templates. So you decide what you want to use. You'll see we have booklets. So, as I mentioned, Florida works a little bit different. So some of these you'll see are based specifically for Florida, and some are for New England. So for example, you'll see the buyer guide is really focused. We have a Florida version and a New England version, only because Florida, it's a little different. You guys are transaction brokers and you're not technically, you don't have a fiduciary responsibility like the New England agents do. So we just changed the wording a little bit in the documents. They're essentially the same pieces. It's just we changed the wording a little bit so that you're not promising something that you're not actually performing. So we have like a buyer guide, like a little booklet. If you scroll down, just like I just went through the buyer presentation, we have a wonderful listing presentation. Let's see. I mentioned the high performance sustainability presentations. We have put together, in light of the upcoming August 17th deadline, want to point out that we have lots of scripts on here. So we have, for example, here's a Florida listing agent script. So if you're listing a home and your seller says, why should I pay a buyer agent? This script will help you. Same with New England. We have a script that you're listing a house, the seller says, why should I pay a buyer agent? We've created the script for you. Let's see. Just some additional buyer presentations, listing presentations. We have this cute, we have a lot of flyers and stuff. These are cute flyers that we make them look like a Monopoly board that show. We have one for the buying process and one for the selling process. So you go through, change out put in your photo, your contact information. We have one for buyers, one for sellers. Final walkthrough checklist, trusted vendors. You'll see through our training program that we talk a lot about having a trusted vendor program for your personal real estate business and how to build a successful sphere of influence by focusing on trusted vendors. So this is where you can go put together your vendor list. Let's see what else we have. We have a locals guide. I think these are super cute for you're doing an open house and you want to, let's just say you're in Westford, Massachusetts. You would create a little locals guide to Westford with the 10 best places to visit in Westford. So this is like a little 2-page newsletter thing. The cool thing with these is you can also feature them, like ask the business if you could drop off a whole bunch of them at their boutique, for example, if you featured their boutique in your newsletter. Let's see. you'll see there's just tons of stuff. We haven't, if you guys are going after expired listings, many of our agents do go after expired listings. We created an expired listing booklet. So this again, meant to be customized. And I think it's about, yeah, it's 9-page booklet about why maybe their house didn't sell and some of the steps you would take in order to help them determine why the house did not sell the first time and help them get it sold the second time. We have a guide to real estate investing. This is another booklet. This one is 11 pages. And this is like a little, if you're working with investors, you should print out some of these. Go in and customize it first, of course, but then print it out so that you have like some little bound booklets talking about investing in real estate. We also have a marketing plan, LAER brochure. So there's just tons of stuff here. Like I mentioned, the best thing to do is just go explore on your own. But all of these, for the most part, are Canva documents. And one other thing I just want to go back to is execution. We started today by saying knowledge is not power, execution is power. Knowledge is just potential power. So some of the things that I think you should execute on, if these do not already exist for your business, have a buyer presentation. So number one is a buyer presentation. Number two is a listing presentation. Number three is a buyer package, a seller package, and an investor package. So the presentations are what you're going to sit and show somebody, like on a computer or a tablet or even a flip book when you're sitting with somebody. The package is the item that you're going to drop off. So you put it into a folder and you would have like your buyer package or your seller package or your investor package. All of these are already created under guides, presentations, and brochures. You just need to customize them. So I think you should have a buyer package, seller package, investor package, and hand pick a few of the pieces that we have under guides, presentations, brochures. So those are the three things I think you should be executing on: buyer presentation, a seller presentation, and your packages, so that you're nice and organized moving forward into the second half of 2024 and into 2025. Next, we've been putting together, gathering resources for the NAR settlement. So we keep updating this each week, but a couple things I just want to point out. Anytime we find a really good white paper or article or some other piece that explains why a buyer should hire a buyer agent or why a seller should pay a buyer agent, anytime we find a great article on those two topics, we add it here because those are articles, third-party endorsements of our beliefs. So anytime we find a third-party endorsement of our beliefs, that it's a good idea to hire a buyer agent and that it is a good idea for a seller to pay a buyer agent. When we find a document that is a third-party endorsement of that belief, we add it here because that should be in your packages. So for example, and when we can, we put them into Canva, only so that you have the piece and then you just add your photo and contact information. So for example, let's see. So the lighter side of real estate, for example, did a really good article explaining this. We put it into a Canva format so you can actually go in and get the article, but also there's a spot at the end. You could just add your contact information to it, but it's just like a very detailed article about the NAR settlement and what matters most to buyers and why sellers should pay for a buyer agent. Anyways, we update this each week as we get new information, but great resources that we keep kind of compiling to make your life easier. We also have a section here on the weekly social media assistant. I'll have Sergio, our head of our marketing department, explain this in a little bit. If you're a LAER agent, we provide your social media to you weekly so that you don't have to think about what should I be posting this week on social media. Don't sweat it. Go build your buyer presentation instead, because we're creating your social media. If you're a LAER agent, and even though we have all this marketing stuff for you, sometimes you just need something very specific. For example, we have agents that advertise in church bulletins or at golf courses, or they put an ad in a local newspaper. Anytime that you need help designing something, we have a button here for special marketing requests. So you just go in, you fill this out, and our team will create the marketing piece and we'll email it back to you. Next, open house resources. So lots of stuff here. Two things I just want to point out for LAER agents. If you need an agent to cover your open house, we have a little form you can fill out here, and it sends a blast email to the agents in a marketplace, LAER agents within the marketplace, offering an open house. So if you are an agent, we have like two different types of agents at our company. Well, number one, we have agents that have tons of inventory and they can't cover all their open houses because they're only one person. We also have agents that wish they had inventory, but they have no inventory. So if you're an agent that has inventory and wants somebody to cover your open house, trust me, we have agents that want to cover your open house. So there's a form there that you fill out, and then email goes out to the agents within the marketplaces you select so that you can find somebody to cover your open house. Same with broker open house notification. If you're doing a broker open house, we want our agents to come out and support you. So fill out this form, a blast email goes to all of our agents in that marketplace asking them to come support your open house. We have sign-in sheets, welcome signs. I'm not going to go through all these, but these are just different forms and pieces that you can use at your open house. We also we've made cute little pop-by tags that say, thanks for popping in to my open house. These are meant to be like taped or tied to a little thing of microwave popcorn. So you have a cute little gift to everybody that comes into your open house. We also have a whole section of activity sheets for kids. So this is so you can have a nice little handout for your kids that are coming into open houses so the parents can spend some time getting to know the property. So that's all under the open house assistant section. We also have a button here for commercial resources. I will tell you, this is a little bit new for us. As the market started shifting last year, we were looking for new ways that our agents could go out and tackle the real estate market. And one of the ways to tackle the real estate market and add new sources of income and business is by focusing on types of business that maybe you didn't work on before, such as commercial real estate. So we have been adding to this over the last 6 months or so. For example, we have a commercial listing presentation, commercial offering memorandums, all kinds of resources here. If you need logos for our commercial division, as well, if you want to join our commercial network, we do have a group of agents that meets once a month in Chelmsford, Mass, and they just talk about commercial real estate. If you want to join that, even if you're not local to Chelmsford, you could still join, and they do like a Zoom call as well. So you can hear who the speakers are, and if you're interested in building a commercial niche for your business. Let's see. There's also a section here, signs, apparel, and print marketing. Okay, so most of these are just places where you can order LAER stuff. So at the top, if you want to order LAER signs, if you click on any of these, it's going to take you over to the LAER page at like D sign, Oakley sign, Lowen sign, so that you can order LAER signs. If you want like business cards or stuff like that, Markful, this will take you over to the LAER page as well. We have some other sites where you can order LAER apparel. But if you go to the very bottom of this page, print marketing, there's some cool stuff on here, and I'm going to start giving you some more items to go execute on. The next thing is that you should consider executing on, if you have not done this already, is MLSmailings.com. By the way, we don't get paid by any of these companies, so we're not promoting these because we're making money from them. When we promote these companies, it's because they do a really good job and they serve a purpose for our agents. So the first one is MLSmailings.com. This is a company that does just listed, just sold postcards with a twist. The twist is that it hooks up to your multiple listing service so that it can be set it and forget it. Anytime you can find something that is set it and forget it for your business, sign up for it. Only because as your business grows, the biggest challenge you will have is time. And so set it and forget it means something that you can just set it up once, and it's going to be a tool that feeds your business even when you're not thinking about it. MLS Mailings is one of those. Because it hooks into your MLS, basically, you set it up once where you go in and you set up your contact information, your logo, your picture, and then you tell their system, every time I list a house, I would like 100 postcards to go to all the neighbors. And every time I sell a house, I would like 100 postcards to go to all of the neighbors. The pricing is right here. Basically, it's either 92 cents or $1.24 per postcard. But once you do this, it'll automatically happen every time you list or sell a house that your postcards are created and sent. And how wonderful is that? Because just listed, just sold postcards for the agents that do these often become something that they do when they have time. So in spring market, when there's the most business, agents aren't doing it because they're on to the next listing. You want your systems to be working even when you're super busy. So huge fan of MLS mailings. Next, TPMCO, the personal marketing company. The personal marketing company is has all kinds of different cool mailers, but let me find the one I like the best. Let's see. I think it's this one. Let me make sure each month I forget which. No, it's not this one. They have a bunch of different automated campaigns. No, that's not it. Basically, I think it's $49, a one-time payment of $49, and yeah, this is it. Okay, so by the way, because hopefully you won't have to click on all of them like I did, but it's automated client follow-up is the one that I recommend. The reason I recommend it is I have agents that have worked at LAER for a very long time, like 10 plus years, and some of them have used this for a really long time. The National Association of Realtors says statistically, most real estate agents stop marketing to their customers after the closing. That's a statistic from the National Association of Realtors. That's why a large percentage of consumers do not use the same real estate agent the second time around. And I could see why, because if somebody has just bought a house, to many real estate agents, well, that person's probably not going to buy another house for another 4 to 5 years. So I should go focus on these these consumers who are more likely to buy quickly. But you should be marketing to the people who already know, like, and trust you. So that's why I really like these automated campaigns. Number one, we did the MLS mailers. Now this one is a program that after you close on somebody, you just had a closing, the buyers moved into their new house, they're very excited. They're probably not going to buy another house for 5, 7, 10 years, but they have friends and family that'll probably buy and sell real estate. You want to get them into this program, which is $48. It's a one-time charge of $48. And then over the next 5 years, that person is going to receive 21 mailings from you over 5 years. So all the mailers are a little different. Some of them are postcards, some of them are magazines. So they're just a way for you to stay in touch, even when you're not thinking about it. It is set it and forget it. And I cannot stress enough, when you look at the high performers in our industry, like the agents doing 10 million plus in business, they have a lot of these systems in place. They have the set it and forget it system, because as you get busy, it is impossible for you to remember, like, hey, I got to do just listed, just sold. I have to get the person into an automated client campaign for the next 5 years. So this stuff is the little things that make a huge difference in your business. Next is Wise Pelican. Wise Pelican is not a set it and forget it program, but it is a postcard program. So if you like the idea of doing postcard mailers, I love Wise Pelican. The reason why is because Wise Pelican also has this little component to it where they will create a landing page for CMAs for you. So basically they create this little page for you so that all of your marketing pieces have like a little QR code, and it says get your free CMA. And then when the consumer scans the QR code, they go over to a thing where they fill out for a free CMA, and then you get emailed that you just got a lead from somebody that wants a free CMA. The reason I love this is because one of the things that many mailers miss, especially in real estate, is there's no call to action. It doesn't tell the consumer what they should be doing. I love that Wise Pelican builds in this QR code with a little landing page. They do all the work for you. They have tons and tons of different postcards to choose from. But what I like most is the QR code with the landing page, so that you're doing a call to action for the consumer to do something like get a CMA on their house. Couple others, many of our agents in Florida like RSP, Data Driven Marketing. It's just another postcard company. And then the other one is Yellow Letters Complete. Yellow Letters Complete is one I've used myself for some things. What Yellow Letters Complete is great for is, for example, let's say you wanted to send out a handwritten note card to all 300 people in your database. Yellow Letters Complete totally will do that for you. They have two options. Number one, they will do a computer generated handwritten note, or maybe you want like a real handwritten note card that goes out to 300 people. They will handwrite 300 cards. So they have like this unique mailing program. Some of our bank-owned agents use this because they also have a yellow letter program where they will send to the consumer what looks like a handwritten note on a folded yellow lined piece of paper. So it kind of looks like somebody just dropped it in their mailbox. So it's just a different type of marketing. Anyways, let's go back to the things that you're going to execute on. So I already said buyer presentation, you got to execute. Listing presentation, you got to execute. Packages, you got to execute. You need a buyer package, a seller package, and a listing package. Two other things I would definitely execute on if you have not already done so is MLS mailings, because it's set it and forget it, and at least the personal marketing company, TPMCO. TPMCO.com. That's the one for $48 per, just a one-time charge per sale, $48. And for 5 years, that person's going to get a mailer from you. These 5 things will have a life-changing impact to you. Just those 5, going and executing on the 5 things that we just mentioned will change the trajectory of your business. But we have more. So don't go anywhere. Let's see what else we have. Next up, we have the LAER report. The LAER report is a newsletter for you to give out to customers. Now, I'd like to start by saying there's 2 types of newsletters that real estate agents can and should be using. The first newsletter is an email newsletter. I feel that you should have everybody in your sphere of influence, and everybody that you have an email address for should be receiving an email newsletter from you once a month. That's not what this is. This is a print newsletter. If you like the idea of having a print newsletter that you can either give out at open houses, put into your packages, your buyer and seller packages, or there's some other cool things you can do with them as well. This is where you get your monthly newsletter. Our marketing team writes a new newsletter every single month. Let's take a look at, by the way, it's the same newsletter. Some agents like to print it on 11 by 17, so it's a nice folded newsletter that comes out to 8.5 by 11 once it's folded. As well, some agents like just printing a 4-page newsletter on 8.5 by 11 paper. Either way, we have both, but it's the same newsletter. So this is our July newsletter. You'll see these big obnoxious red circles. That's just us reminding you what you need to change on this page. Once you change, for example, your name and phone number and website, you simply just, whoops, I deleted the whole thing, which I didn't mean to do. Let's go back. There, we just added it back. So you just click on the red circle. Once you've changed your name and contact information, you can just delete out the red circle. So we just do that so you know what pieces you need to change and customize on the newsletter. So this is the newsletter once a month. By the way, you could change any of it. So some of it you have to change, but some of it you might not have to change, but you want to change. Why would you want to change something on here? Well, we have a lot of agents that use these as mailers. And what they'll do is have, for example, a mortgage company sponsor the postage on the mailer. And so they'll take out one of these articles within the newsletter and make a little section for their mortgage person so that there's an advertisement or an article. As well, we're going to talk about the LAER Algorithm program in a little while, which is our business growth system that we use to help agents to get to 30 transactions a year. One of the big pieces of that is building a sphere of influence by focusing on vendor partners. The LAER report is a place where you can feature a vendor partner each month. For example, your favorite landscaper, where you write a little article about your favorite landscaper, you feature them in the newsletter. Not only do you give the newsletter out to your people, but also you ask the landscaper to distribute the newsletter to their people. So this is a fun little newsletter, all customizable. We change it up every month. All right, next up, we have a little section. If you're a LAER agent, if you need logos and images, there's a button there with tons of logos. We also, as part of, I mentioned our LAER Algorithm growth system to help you get to 30 transactions a year. One of the parts of that program is getting out and visiting customers each week, past clients, friends, family, acquaintances. And so we urge you to do pop-bys and bring a little gift with you. And so we've made all these little pop-by tags, seasonal pop-by tags that you can go, for example, we just missed July 4th, but let's say July 4th, and you just go out and buy some sparklers, for example. And then we created these little tags so you could just tape them on to your sparklers. This one says, your referrals make my business sparkle. So we have these for all year long so that you can go buy little items of value. And we've already created the little tags for you to customize and print and add to your pop-by gift. So we are halfway through the program, and all we've covered thus far is the marketing resources here. And there's just tons of them. Some of the other stuff that you guys will want to go explore as you have some free time, definitely the agent growth and development sections. First, if you click on classes, meetings, and coaching, a few things I want to point out to you here. First of all, the LAER monthly sales meeting. So if you're a LAER agent, we always do a company-wide sales meeting on the second Wednesday of every month. You can go sign up for that here. It's Zoom format. As well, if you want to see what training classes LAER has coming up, you can head over to our training calendar and see all of the upcoming training events. And if you click on any of these, you can actually sign up for the event. And then down at the bottom, you can integrate our training calendar with your own calendar. So if you have a Google Calendar, you click on this. If you have an iCal calendar, you click on this. It'll then integrate your calendar, our calendar with your calendar so that you never miss a training event again. I mentioned our YouTube station. Head over and check out our YouTube station. We also have LAER University, which is even more training. So if you head over to YouTube, you're going to see hundreds and hundreds of training classes. Literally, every week we add, so you'll see here, we have 274 videos on our LAER training YouTube. So that's youtube.com/LAER training. Make sure you subscribe to this so that you just get a little ping notification every time we add new content. But also we have LAER University. There's another few hundred training programs there. So between YouTube and LAER University, there's just tons of content. As well, we offer coaching. So if you're an agent that likes to have a super high amount of accountability, this just talks about our coaching program. It's a group coaching. It's for 6 months. And this answers all the questions about the coaching. By the way, we don't charge for it. And then you can complete an application telling us about yourself. We then pair you up into a group coaching session. So our groups are usually like between 5 and 8 real estate agents and 1 coach. Our coaches are trained on our AlgoWin business growth system. So it's all based on our growth system, but then you're paired with a coach. There's 2 monthly coaching calls, and it's to help hold you accountable for the goals that you create for yourself. If you're brand new to real estate, we also have this wonderful new agent resource center. So these are some of the things that are super helpful for brand new agents. Let's see, we've created, first of all, these little help guides. So like Real Estate Agent's Guide to Home Inspections. If you guys click on that, you're going to find this massive booklet. I want to say it's like 50 pages. And it's everything that a home inspector would look for. So this goes into detail about the types of houses and roofs and mechanical systems and you name it. It's just wonderful for a brand new agent to understand the working mechanics of a home. Whoops, we'll go back. We also have a Real Estate Agent's Guide to Lead Paint, Procure and Cost, Best Practices, Connecticut Law, Maine Law, Best Practices. We also have our own guide to real estate agent safety. If you go down here, we also have been building out tutorials on all of the real estate forms so that it's like a step-by-step guide on how to fill out each form if you are newer to real estate. So that's under classes, meetings, and coaching. Under business plans and growth systems, we have 3 different systems that we typically encourage agents to use. Of course, the most important one is our LAER business growth system. This is our system that we use to help get agents to 30 transactions per year. We built our own workbook, and this is a 100-page workbook, and it's based on the checklist manifesto. So basically, we went out and evaluated our highest performing agents. That is agents doing $10 million a year in business or $250,000 in gross revenues. And we said, what is it that they are doing in their business for success? What are the checklists that they are using to make sure that they are doing a high performance? And we created the whole system, and it's super simple. It's built around 7 simple checklists. If you're a LAER agent, you would have received this in your welcome box when you join LAER, but also you can download it. You can download, if you want to check this out, maybe you're at another brokerage, you can download our LAER system here. You'll get the whole workbook, and it explains exactly how it all works. We also have just a traditional real estate business planning guide. For some agents, the LAER is just some agents just want like a business planning template. That's what this page here is. The business planning template is a traditional real estate business plan. This document's even great for teams. So as you approach the end of the year, it's a great reason to get together with, if you're running a team, and have everybody work through all of this together, where you kind of plan out your vision, your mission, where you came from, where you're going, stuff like that. Traditional business plan all the way. Then we also created our own, we call it a simple plan. Basically, the idea of the simple plan is that in order for you to significantly change the trajectory that you're currently on, let's just say you're a $2 million a year producer, most likely you're going to do $2 million a year next year too. That's how our business works. But the only reason for that is because that's who you've become in your own head. You are a $2 million producer if that's what you're doing. Well, what happens if you're not happy with that? What happens if you want to be a $20 million producer? Well, you have to become, in your own head first, the $20 million producer. So this guide is a guide that helps you determine who it is you need to become to get to the next level, and then what steps you have to take in order to become that person. You literally have to become a different version of yourself to get to a different level. So that's what the simple plan is. And then we also have a document here, which is an income producing activities worksheet. You ever have one of those days like you have nothing to do? Well, this income producing activities worksheet is wonderful because it kind of jogs your memory. Like, here's all the things you could be doing right now to get you producing income. So that is under the business plans and growth systems. If you are in need of continuing ed classes, we do have a partnership with the CE shop. You can go wherever you want. If you're a LAER agent, of course, you can go wherever you want for your CE, but we also have this partnership with the CE shop. What's wonderful about this, I love the CE shop because for any real estate agent, 2 things. They track all your progress. So like you have one place where you can log in and see all of your CE certificates. But the other thing is, if you're like me, like I have 7 real estate licenses in 7 states, I don't want to take 10 billion hours of CE classes. What I want to take is a class that works for all 7 states. That's what the CE shop does. As you're shopping for the classes you need, it matches, it knows what your licenses are because you log them all into the system, and it will help you shop for your CE classes based on the facts that you are licensed in multiple states. So it'll say like, hey, if you take this class, it is going to count for 3 credits in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Maine. So check out our CE classes available at the CE shop. Okay, moving down to the agent toolbox. Next button is technology tools. We're gonna do some demos on some of these in a little bit. But most importantly, what I want everybody to look at is these 2 tools right here. Number 1 is the listing description generator. This is for any agent at any company, so you don't have to be a LAER agent to utilize either one of these tools. It's a game changer. Remember in the old days, you would labor for like 2 hours writing your listing description because you want it to be incredible. You want to attract people to the house. Not anymore. Now you fill out this nice, simple form and you press submit. And by the time you get over to your email, you will already have in your inbox a listing description for your property. I always remind agents, please go in and read it and make sure it's not violating like a fair housing law accidentally by using words like walking distance. But other than that, it's going to give you a killer listing description. Just go in and check it, make sure it's accurate and it's not violating any laws. But for the most part, it's going to save you 2 hours every time you have a new listing. Same with agent bio generator. Your bio is really important. And this is a pet peeve of mine in the real estate industry. I think 90% of real estate agents have a terrible bio. So you land on their website or the company website or their social media, and they have a really poor bio and a really old photo of themselves. This is a pet peeve of mine because your bio is your resume. And we're in the business of applying for a job every time we go on a listing appointment and every time we go on a buyer appointment. Now, imagine that you have a 20-year-old son who's going out and applying for jobs. Would you think it's acceptable that your 20-year-old son has a photo of himself from when he was 10 years old and a 1-line description of or no description of his work history? No, you'd want him to have something super professional looking so that he stands out. So I'm a huge proponent, and you'll see it within our Alcorn business growth system, that one of the things we say is go update your photo once a year and go write a really good bio. The first thing that consumers do when they are referred to a stranger, which is oftentimes you as the real estate agent, first thing the consumer does is Google you. So what is it? Would you hire you if you Googled you? That's why, and this is a big part of one of the checklists within the Alcorn system, is we try to set you up so that when you Google you, you look like a professional, that people feel super comfortable hiring you when they Google you. So we have this simple bio generator. I think one reason why agents don't have great bio generators, they don't know what to say about themselves. So this agent bio generator we created, this will just email you a bio. It asks you some questions about yourself, and you press submit, and then by the time you get over to your email, you have this incredible bio about who you are, and then you can go in and add or delete or change it from there. So those are some cool tools under the technology or agent toolbox under technology. Next up, I'm going to introduce, since we're on sustainability, and I could see that our Chief Sustainability Officer, Craig Foley, has joined us. First, I want you guys to know that if you're interested in sustainability or high performance homes or climate change or being eco-friendly, we have all kinds of tools to help you in your business so you could start building this whole niche around your core business to grow even further. But in addition to that, we have the #1 expert in sustainability in all of real estate in all of the country. If you've ever gone to a National Association of Realtors event and watched a segment on sustainability, I promise you it was probably conducted by our very own Craig Foley, who is our Chief Sustainability Officer. So welcome, Craig.
Thanks, Stacey. Thanks for the very kind introduction. I appreciate it. I just threw into the chat, as I'm going to switch screens here, Stace, a great opportunity for training with the green designation. So we think a lot about making sure our agents are knowledgeable and competent in this part of the business, and that's going to become a big issue as we continue throughout the year. National Association of Realtors in the Code of Ethics is looking at some changes to Article 11, which is our knowledge and competence requirements specifically related, Stacey, to high performance homes, high performance buildings, and making sure the listing agent is competent in this part of the business. And the easiest way to achieve that level of competency is through the green designation, which is a very rigorous class. Stacey, you're a green designated agent, as you know, a very rigorous class, 2 days, in which we do a deep dive on building science, the new technologies, HVAC, heat pumps, solar PV, building envelopes, all the things that you really need to know about homes and buildings that are moving towards a real deep focus on energy efficiency and renewables. And the second day is on real estate marketing these homes, valuation of these homes, because the valuation process, believe it or not, is different, especially in residential real estate, where all we're used to dealing with is comps all the time, right? Comps. But with homes, for instance, with host-owned solar PV, we can use an income approach to add contributory value on top of those comps. And it is, in fact, recognized in the industry. And then the last part of day 2 is about how to use all of the information, the knowledge you've obtained, and to use that for your business. And Stacey, you'll be glad to know that we're in the midst of rewriting the green designation right now. There's 3 of us that have done the last 3 rewrites. We get funded every 3 years to rewrite the designation, and your influence on me personally has been huge. But a lot of what you've been talking about today, knowledge is not power, execution is, right? So the knowledge in the green designation is fantastic, but it's meaningless if you don't execute on it. So a big focus of this rewrite of the green designation, which I'm hopeful is going to be available by the time I teach down on the Cape in that link that I just shared, is going to include the execution of how to use that knowledge in your business, Stacey. So I'm very excited about this very foundational change for the green designation that we're in the midst of doing. That class on the Cape is phenomenal pricing as well. Stacey, if I remember correctly, when you took the class for Central Massachusetts Association of Realtors, you paid, I don't know, between $250 and $300, which is kind of the standard amount that gets paid. Take a look at the price on that Cape Cod and the Islands Association of Realtors. $79 for members of CCI AOR and $149 for non-members. I mean, even the non-member price is half of what you'd be paying. So, grab a hotel room on the Cape on October 3rd and come down and take the green designation. That's a live presentation. For our Florida realtors, I'm going to be teaching it on Zoom with the Raleigh, North Carolina Association of Realtors a little later in the month of October. So there may be opportunities for you to jump online. I have no idea what the prices are going to be for that class. I would expect that it's a little bit more traditional in pricing. But I'm going to just go through a little PowerPoint here, Stacey, about what we're doing in terms of the business of sustainability and how we've been rethinking our customer and agent and staff and community engagement at LAER Realty Partners. And as Stacey said, we've really created a real impact in the industry, Stacey, with the work that we've been doing over the last 5 years. And I'm very excited. I've done a lot of work with National Association of Realtors on this, including this year, I'm on the executive committee in this brand new position. So on the executive committee for NAR, there are 12 subject matter experts that were added to the executive committee. One of them is in the sustainability space, and I'm very honored to be the first person to serve on exec in that space. But you can see I've done a lot of work in this space, and it's really exciting for me personally as well to see how the leadership team of NAR has really worked to change the culture at our National Association of Realtors to engage on this intersection of real estate and sustainability. And there's reasons for that, right? As you can see, this is from Shelton Group, a very well-known marketing company that focuses on sustainable messaging for S&P 500 companies. And 74% of consumers are making purchasing decisions based on a company's environmental reputation. I am so pleased to say that LAER Realty Partners is the leader in residential real estate in this space. And look at that number, 74% of consumers making purchasing decisions based on a company's environmental reputation. Now, I think we still have huge opportunities at LAER to engage our communities and consumers even better than what we've been doing. But this is but we are really leading the space here in terms of moving this ball forward. I'm going to throw this into the chat too. This is an image, a screenshot that I took from the Green Building Registry. So what is the Green Building Registry? Well, you can go take a look at it in the link that I just added. As you can see in Massachusetts, and this is an old number, I'm sure there's 193,000 by now, but 192,000 homes, nearly 193,000 homes with significant green building improvements, both new construction and existing homes. And what's cool about that Green Building Registry, if you open that link up, you can put in a zip code, you can put in, I live in Melrose, Massachusetts, I could put in Melrose, Mass in there and go down to my community level, right? And actually click on the little green buttons if I scroll down and find specific addresses and the types of green building improvements that homeowner has added to their home. So some significant numbers here in terms of the development of this marketplace. And just, for a second, think about how you could use that information in the communities that you serve to be able to start to do some marketing, because you can, you get the address. We're not stupid. We know how to find the homeowner's information by getting the address and be able to start to deliver marketing on a long term to those consumers that are out there. And when I lecture, as Stacey said, all over the country on this stuff, and I always show Massachusetts first because that's where I'm at. And oftentimes I get from agents that I'm talking to about this, well, you're in Massachusetts where all the liberals are, so no wonder you've got 192,000. But in other areas of the country with very different political agendas than we have, for instance, Florida, over 200,000 homes in the state of Florida with significant green building improvements. I lectured last year in Austin, Texas, and then I looked at GBR, and there were 14,500 homes. As I said, I'm going to be teaching for Raleigh Association of Realtors. There were 11,500 homes in those two communities with significant green building improvements. So this is happening These kinds of improvements, no matter what side of the political aisle that you're thinking about, people are thinking about lowering their operating costs on their home, right? Lowering their insurance costs, because in some states, when you make these kinds of green building improvements, resilient building improvements, it can actually lower insurance policies as well. So this stuff is growing at a rapid pace, which is why both Stacey and I really hope that all of you start to think about this not as a niche for your business or your team, but as a real driver of what's happening in the marketplace right now. And again, the green designation is the best way to obtain that knowledge and competence in the marketplace. You know, here's something Massachusetts specific, but you may have heard that Massachusetts changed their building code to a much more rigorous building code. In the community that I live in, Melrose, we adopted the most rigorous of the 3 codes that are available for Massachusetts communities, the Specialized Stretch Energy Code. And, you know, from this, you can see it's very clear that the state is moving folks towards decarbonized homes, fully electric homes, homes heated and cooled with heat pumps. Heat pump hot water heaters, induction cooktops, not the traditional electric range, but induction cooktops, a new technology that's really gaining force in the marketplace. Over the last 2 years, heat pumps have outsold natural gas furnaces nationally in the United States. So all of this technology that's changing, our realtors really need to know about it, and we want to be the leader in the country with agents that are engaged on this stuff, that are knowledgeable about this stuff. And as I said, you know, with everything going on with NAR right now, if these Article 11 pieces fall into place, there's going to be a requirement for listing agents listing homes with host-owned solar PV to prove their competence, or you could be subject to an ethics violation. So this stuff is very real in the marketplace right now. And again, very excited that our leadership team at National Association of Realtors really gets this and is fully embracing this. You know, one of the things that I'm very grateful for Governor DeSantis about, there was a net metering bill a few years ago that was going through the state legislature that really would have impacted negatively solar PV production and development, which is a real jobs center in the state of Florida. And I was very pleased to see Governor DeSantis veto that bill to retain the net metering law that was in place. And net metering, just so you know, is when a home has a solar PV system, which stands for photovoltaics, a little power plant on their rooftop that's creating electricity to power their home. The way net metering works is with traditional utility meters, they spin in one direction. With a home with solar PV, sometimes it's producing more power than it's using. So it actually spins backwards, and you can get credits from the utility company for the power that you're producing. Imagine, you know, instead of getting a utility bill, sending the utility an invoice for the extra power that you're producing and sending it back to the grid. That's what a net metering, what a proper net metering law looks like. So again, the green designation is a real highlight here in terms of knowledge and competence in this part of the industry. As I mentioned, we're in the midst of a really massive fundamental rewrite of the green designation that I'm very excited about, and looking forward to teaching. I'm hoping it's going to be fully available by the time I teach that class at the Cape Cod and Islands Association of Realtors on October 3rd and 4th. One of the things that we're trying to track, and again, I think as far as I know, we're the only company in the United States that are tracking this. When you go to fill out your check request, right? You do all this hard work to list or sell a property. I'm sure you all like to get paid in the end, right? So we have a check request to be able to do that. And in our check request, you'll see that there is a question about the green features in the home. If there are any, which as I look at it, almost every home has some kind of green feature, even if it's converting the old incandescent light bulbs to LED, right? That's a green feature in the home. You know, there are 50 shades of green, and that's one of them, right? But you're on the left, we have some pretty significant ones that are in, for instance, MLS PIN. The storm protection stuff is from the Beaches MLS in Florida that our agents in Florida use, right? So that's resilient building improvements, energy efficient and renewable energy improvements. We would so much appreciate you really thinking about the improvements in the homes that you're listing and helping buyers buy, whether or not they have any of these features, so that we can track these as a company and be able to, again, make that part of our messaging that we're leaders in this space. There are some great templates. Stacey's already mentioned these. I'm going to just highlight them again. You know, Stacey, I'm so appreciative of all the work that you do and your care about this. I got an email from you, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago saying, hey, Craig, I created a seller's deck for green designated agents. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And we went through it and we realized that there's actually 2 decks there, a seller's deck and a buyer's deck. And I started to think about buyer's agency and our value proposition to buyers. That buyer's agency deck is a really, really good one. And that will be featured in the new green designation as well, because as Stacey said, you know, it doesn't matter which company you work for. If you work for LAER or some other company, we're really open source. We're sharing this information to move the market forward in the high performance home market and market transformation. And you know, I get a lot, Stace, in the work that I do, the presentations that I do, you know, oh, that's great, but do buyers recognize, do appraisers recognize this stuff, right? A bias, I think, in the real estate industry is agents saying, oh, that's great, but, you know, appraisers will never recognize this stuff. That's BS. So there are a set of appraisers. They've gone through the Valuation of Sustainable Buildings program that the Appraisal Institute offers that are trained to be able to know the contributory value, how to make that pitch to a bank underwriter that the home with these green features has contributory value. So this is my home in Melrose, Massachusetts. It's an 1895 Victorian. My wife and I did a significant remodel of it a couple of years ago. It now has a HERS score of 59. And as you can see, that HERS rater, an independent third party, said, Craig and Sally are achieving $3,700 in savings annually. Well, an appraiser that's gone through the Valuation of Sustainable Buildings program could use a net present value tool to calculate that and come up fairly easily with $40,000 worth of contributory value. So let's say my condo comped at 750. Now, you know, we would recognize it in an appraisal as having a value of 790 because of that contributory value that's in that report. So this is very real in the marketplace. We're seeing homeowners make these improvements, and it is absolutely recognized in the marketplace. We're also very lucky to have a great partnership with Pearl Certification. Pearl Certification is a NAR REACH partner, so National Association of Realtors every year picks 8 to 10 companies that they invest in. And regularly we have a sustainability company that NAR believes is going to move the market forward for listing agents that are in this space. And Pearl Certification is great. It's a green building certification that's very, very well priced, particularly for green designated agents for existing homes. You know, you've probably heard of green building certifications like LEED, which are very expensive for homeowners to achieve. This one's super cost effective, and it's a green building certification for existing homes where a homeowner's just done the right thing. They've gone to Mass Save and had an energy assessment done, and maybe they've done some air sealing and insulation work. Maybe they've added heat pumps to their home. Maybe their home has solar PV on it. And in those cases, you can get a green certification. I think it's $195 for green certified agents and get outstanding marketing tools, and they guide you through the whole valuation process, how we ensure that we can achieve that valuation by the listing agent taking control of the transaction and demanding a qualified appraiser. We can't pick a specific appraiser, but we can demand a qualified appraiser. And appraisers that go through the valuation of sustainable buildings at the Appraisal Institute are those appraisers. As Stacey said, we're getting a lot of national attention about this as well. This is Realtor Magazine several years ago, 2019, about a presentation that Stacey and I did at the LAER conference. Yeah, more and more of this stuff all over the place. I mentioned the Code of Ethics. You can see requirements of competence. Don't be surprised by the end of this year when we get to the Boston annual event that the Pro Standards Committee will have added case interpretations specifically about green building competence and listing agent competence in green buildings. You can see it's very clear how Article 11 is very, very clear. Be knowledgeable about the type of property being valued, right? I mean, I think I made a pretty clear case that there are significant homes, existing and new construction, that have moved the ball forward in terms of green building improvements. You have to know about that to list these homes and have access to all the information and resources necessary to formulate an accurate opinion of value. And that is exactly what we tackle in the green designation. Here's, from GRAB, my local association is GBAR, Greater Boston Association of Realtors, which is an affiliate of GRAB, and they talk about reasonable care as part of our fiduciary responsibility. And then you see it again, that competent agent requirement in there. There's also, this is for everybody, right? I mean, all of us are independent contractors working for Stacey, right? There was a great bill passed into law by the Biden administration in August 2022 called the Inflation Reduction Act. I'll throw in the chat a little bit later here a great website from Rewiring America that takes you to a website that's very easy to fill out. 5 individual features about your, estimated gross income, how you file your taxes, your zip code, and it will take you to the pretty valuable tax incentives that are available for all of us. Now, if you've had a good year as an independent contractor, you've got a big tax appetite, and there are huge opportunities under this Inflation Reduction Act to improve your home personally. And if you do that like I have done, what a great message to reach out to your past buyers or even your current buyers that are, going to be your future homeowners and hopefully your future listings about being able to lower their tax burden by making green building improvements. So again, I'll throw that in at the time we finish. Again, LAER very excited about this in the strat plan. We're dealing with climate risk, climate change quite a bit now. National Association of Realtors, again, just great things going on with our trade organization. And as Stacey pointed out, we have a ton in that LAER Sustainability Toolkit about marketing, videos, appraisal tools, scripts that are available for how you deal with this stuff as a listing agent dealing with all these issues. And part of my job as the Chief Sustainability Officer for LAER Realty Partners, and Stacey, I probably get a couple of emails, texts, phone calls a week saying, Craig, my buyer's buying a home with solar. What do I need to know? Or Craig, my home my home seller's listing a home with high performance improvements. What do I need to know? Right. So I am available for you to be able to move this ball forward and make sure that you are not doing the wrong thing by listing these homes and creating potential lawsuits for Stacey that she has to deal with in the end. So please think very seriously about this as part of your business. It's evolving very rapidly, and you're lucky to be at LAER because we are really leading the fray here. So Stacey, that's what I have to say.
All right, awesome. And I saw you just added rooftop solar abuses, a new document within our marketing system.
Yeah, we are seeing in the marketplace. So I am a huge advocate for solar PV. First of all, it's a property rights issue, right? I personally believe that home and business owners that want to put renewable energy on their home should have the right to do that and should be compensated appropriately by their utility. That being said, we have seen, particularly over the last couple of years, as interest rates have gone up and the Chinese tariffs have impacted the solar PV marketplace, some abuses going on in the solar PV world. Very aggressive sales agents, typically by companies that have venture capital and have to meet very rigorous goals because of that venture capital, that there's real abuses in the marketplace. So that's something I'm very aware of, and we do have some information, as you mentioned, in the sustainability toolkit about some of those abuses out there. So thanks for pointing that out. I really appreciate it.
All right, awesome stuff as always. As many of you guys will see, we've been adding a lot of stuff to our sustainability section on LAER Agent Services, only because we've been saying for years that it's a great opportunity to build a niche for your business, but now we're at a point that we want to prevent you from becoming a liability to your business. So it's really important to start embracing some of the classes around sustainability, only so you're not misinforming somebody about, for example, a value of a property that has sustainable features, things like that. And that is a real risk that you take if you're not informed. So huge advocate of the green designation. I strongly encourage, if you're not a green designated agent, to go take the class. When I took the class last summer, you walk away with this huge binder of information. And that was what Craig was talking about. I said, after I took that class, I saved the binder and all my notes. I said, we got to turn this into something that is usable for real estate agents. And that's how our sustainable listing presentation and high performance home buyer presentation were born.
Oh, I've got one more announcement just quickly, Stacey.
Yes.
The next LAER Sustainability Committee meeting, and it's open to all agents, even from agents from other companies, is July 24th at noon. So
Okay.
contact me at cfoley at LAER Realty Partners if you want to, at laerrealty.com, if you would like to participate. What we're going to be looking at is our green designated agents and anybody that's potentially thinking about getting your green designation. How can LAER, let's think outside the box, open conversation with our sustainability committee about how LAER might be able to advance your business, right? Just trying to think forward here about things that maybe you and I haven't thought about, Stacey, really involve everybody in that conversation, right?
Yeah, I love it. All right, good stuff. Thank you, Craig.
You got it.
All right, we are still on our LAER Agent Services page. Couple other buttons I want to make sure you see. If you're a LAER agent, you need this getting paid section. This is where you get paid as a LAER agent. We try to make it super simple. You just fill out an online form that notifies bookkeeping. As well, we collect deposits. Mail, if anybody hasn't noticed this, I mean, to mail something these days, it takes a really long time. In the old days, you could mail something from like this town to that town and it's there in a day. Mail's taking forever, which has become an issue for deposits. So we'll still take regular deposits, but we also have these awesome services like Deposit Link and Earnest so that we can collect everything online. So you can find all that there. We also have a button for agent safety. We take agent safety very seriously at LAER. We wrote our own guide to real estate agent safety, updated most recently in January. As well, you'll find all kinds of links. So all this is at laerrealty.com/safety, but you'll find all these great links for resources on how to make sure you remain safe as a real estate agent. A little bit further down, we have our agent directory. This is just we have about 800 real estate agents roughly at LAER. You can go find any of our agents here as well. you could see where all of our office locations are. So as I mentioned, we have offices throughout Massachusetts, New Hampshire, now Maine. So welcome to all of our Maine agents who are joining us today, as well as Florida. By the way, if you're watching today's program and you love some of the stuff you're hearing about LAER and you're interested in learning more, we're very interested in talking to you. We're interested in expanding everywhere throughout the United States. So even if we're not in your marketplace and you like some of the stuff you heard today and you'd be interested in talking to us, email happyagent@laerrealty.com. You'll end up, you and I will set up an appointment for a confidential call to see if it makes sense for you to join our great brokerage. Under office locations, you could see all of the office locations in New England and Florida. As well, we want to make it very easy for you to utilize any of the LAER offices if you're a LAER agent. So it's just one big group company. At many real estate companies, like the big franchises, they have 1 million offices, but you can't just go use them whenever you want. We wanted to make it super easy. You can use, as a LAER agent, use any office whenever you want. So we have a little system here that you just go and click on the office you would like to use, and the system will email you all the information for accessing the office. I mentioned earlier the staff schedules are on here, so you know who's in an office at a particular time. We also have a section here where you can email an entire office. So if there's something that you want to send, let's say you want to email the Hollowell main office, you just click on this and it's going to help you send out an email to all of the agents and staff in that location. So those are just some cool pieces for communication. And then down here, we have our brokerage blog. So throughout, if you're a LAER agent, throughout the month, you'll get email notifications. Typically, those bring you back to the brokerage blog where we're sharing, for example, the top 25 lists for the month, so that if you're on one of those lists, you can share all of that on social media. So with that, we're going to go back to our LAER program and services guide. As you will recall from over 2 hours ago when we started, this was like the first page we started on. This is a 40-page guide. So as you could see, we've spent a little over 2 hours, like with tons and tons and tons of content. And we're still at the very beginning, which means we still have a lot to share with you. So you don't want to go anywhere. We've already provided you with tens of thousands of dollars worth of great stuff, marketing stuff, but we have more in store for you. So the next piece, I want to introduce you to Sergio. Sergio is the head of the LAER marketing department, and he's just going to give you a brief overview of the marketing resources available if you're a LAER agent. So for the next 5 minutes, this is just stuff that is available for LAER agents, but stay tuned, because once this segment is over, we've got some more stuff available for every agent who's on today's call. With that, I want to introduce Sergio.
Thanks, Stacey. So I'm just going to demo a couple of the programs that Stacey already mentioned for our LAER agents. So one of them is the LAER marketing bundle. So as a LAER agent, when your listing goes live on the MLS, our team gets to work. We create this marketing bundle, which includes a brochure as well as social media pieces for your listing. These social media pieces follow the whole transaction of the home. So all the way from just listed to just sold, we will deliver social media pieces for you that you can use to market your listing. So let me give you a live demo of what that looks like. So you'll receive an email from us that looks just like this. And again, you do need to be a LAER agent for you to receive these. So within 24 hours of your home going live on the MLS, you'll receive an email that looks just like this. We have 3 links in this email. The main link to just use your bundle is this download bundle button. If we click this, it goes over to a Google Drive folder. And in this Drive folder, I'm going to change the layout here. You see all of the social media pieces, right? So new listing, open house, under agreement, sold, etc. And then you also have the listing sheet. This you can download as a PDF and go ahead and print. You can actually print directly from Google Drive as well. You can take that PDF. This is a high resolution PDF, so you can download this and then send it over to Staples to have it printed out professionally. So we do our best to select the best photos. We run your description through Grammarly just to take care of any kind of spelling mistakes. And then we have your photo that we have on file for you, as well as your contact information. We include a LAER brochure with every listing. So if you want to print this out so you can have some information about LAER as a company for your open house. We have a flyer for our preferred closing partner. In this case, in New England, we have Coast to Coast Closings. Down in Florida, we have the New World company. And then we include a basic open house sign-in sheet. Now, Stacey did mention if you go to LAERagentservices.com, you have even more open house resources, but we like to include it just so you can have something that's quick and easy to print out. Like I said, this is all ready to use, but if we go back to our email, we also include Canva templates. So we have a Canva template for the brochure. And as long as you're signed into Canva, you're able to come in here and edit your template however you want. So this is a live listing, so I'm going to make a copy. And editing your brochure in this case is very easy. Everything is just drag and drop. Any of the text, you can just click in the text boxes. So for example, if there was a price change, if it was reduced to $750, we're able to do it very quickly. And then to use this and download this, we click on share, download, and then we're going to download this as a PDF to print. While this is a flyer that you can print out, you can use this however you want. If you want to download this as a JPEG and send this out on an email, you're free to do so. Now, to switch out the photos, it's very easy. Same drag and drop. So I'm just going to upload some photos. Actually, I might have some already on here just as an example. So we have this bedroom photo here. And if we want to switch it out, we just drag and drop it into where we want it to go. Now, when you drag and drop a photo, it will snap right into place into any one of these frames. So when, like, for example, I'm going to drag and drop this. If it snaps into one of these frames and it's not the frame that you want it to go into, as long as you're holding down the mouse button, you can just hover over the correct frame and it will snap into place. So, and if you accidentally drop it here, there is an undo button here that you can use to bring everything back to normal. Like I mentioned before, all of the text here is editable, right? So you can go in, update your description, your photo. Let's say you have a different photo for your headshot here. And very easily you can just drag and drop and Canva will automatically remove the background in this case. If not, you can just add it as is. So that is the LAER marketing bundle. The second link here also includes the link to edit your social media pieces. Now, there are two other social media pieces that we don't include in that drive, just because we don't have the information yet to include it. So we have one for an open house that has the date and time. So if you want to do a post for your open house that includes the date and time, you can open this Canva link up, this Canva design, and then put in the date and time. And then we also have one piece for a new price. So if you do have a price reduction or price improvement later down the line, you can open this document right up on your Canva account and then update the price and then click on share and then download. You're also able to share directly to social media from Canva. That's one of the features. You can share directly with the free version of Canva, but you can also use the content scheduler with Canva Pro to schedule out your posts. We have some other helpful resources. We have a FedEx 2-day delivery package where you can print out these flyers out in any of our offices. We have some great copy machines that you can use. If you're not close to one of our offices, you can order a FedEx 2-day delivery of your listing package. So this includes 25 printed listing sheets. We include some LAER brochures, some closing company brochures, and open house sign-in sheet, and it's all included in a gold foil folder. There's a cost to this. It mainly just covers the cost of shipping it to you. Another link that you'll find here is a link to order a 4-page brochure. So if you click on this, it'll take you to a form where you can give us as much info as you can, or actually we already have the info. But what we're really looking for is the photo. So you can upload the high resolution images for your 4-page brochure. The 4-page brochure looks like this. It's a great brochure that prints out on 11 by 17 paper. It's a great way of featuring your home, especially if you went out and got a lot of photos, nice drone shots and everything. We don't include this with our typical marketing package, just because not every property will require one of these. But if you do have a nicer listing, you can request one of those just by using that form, and then we can deliver it to you. Now, the LAER marketing bundle is sent out to you within 24 hours of your listing going live on the MLS. If you don't see it within those 24 hours, please let us know. Email us at happyagent@laerrealty.com. We can make sure that it gets out to you. Now, the next program that I'm going to cover is our LAER Social Media Assistant. So every Monday, you'll receive all of the social media resources that you need for the entire week. So this includes a 7 to 10 social media posts for the whole week, both as Canva templates and ready-to-use JPEGs. And then we also include suggested captions and hashtags. There are a lot of services out there that will give you all of the images, mostly real estate related ones. But sometimes you don't really know what to say. They don't include suggested captions. So we include that with our package that we sent out, with our email that we sent out every Monday. We also include suggested hashtags. You can then take those captions. You can use them as is. You're welcome to do that. But you can always customize it and tailor it to fit your local market. It's always a good idea to personalize all of these for your own social media. These are delivered to you via email and text message. Now, every Monday morning, look out for this email and text message. If you don't see it, let us know. We can make sure that you're on the correct list. The text message itself, if you don't want to keep getting that text message on Monday, you can just reply stop to that text message, and we'll take you off of that list. But you'll always receive that email in your inbox. So let's do a live demo of that too. Now, you'll receive an email that looks just like this at the start of the week. The email layout is we have our suggested caption first, right? And then we have our post image. Now, to use these, it's very easy. You just copy the suggested caption and then download your post image. You can do this on your phone. We try to format the email so it's really easy to use on your phone, where you can just kind of sit on Monday morning on your phone while you're having your coffee and then schedule out these posts. Like I mentioned before, we also include the Canva template. So if you click on this edit in Canva, this will open up a new Canva template, which you can then edit on your Canva accounts. You can replace some of the photos. You can maybe replace the logo, add some of your information. You can do anything you want with it. And then when you're ready to post, you can click on the share button. You can share directly on social media. And like I mentioned before, there is a way to schedule out your post through using Canva Pro, where you can schedule it out to go out at a later date on your calendar. So you can sit there Monday morning, take an hour to schedule out all of the social media posts. You already have the suggested captions and everything, so you're not spending time trying to figure out what to say. And you can do these with all of these posts. Now, at the bottom, we also include both Facebook and Instagram stories. And these you can just download as is and post them as either Facebook and Instagram stories. If you are using Instagram, I believe Facebook also has this. One link that I always forget about is that we also have these Giphy stickers that you can put in your post. So even if you don't use one of our Instagram stories, if you're just doing a story that's about your open house and you can just put a picture of your home, you can use any of these little animated GIFs that are all LAER branded. And one of our team members, Renee, has done a lot of work getting these done, and I'm sort of amazed to see how many we've done so far. So definitely check that out. And like I mentioned before, if you don't see this email come in on Monday, please let us know. We always want to make sure that that you are on all our correct lists. And the best way of reaching out to our team is always happyagent@laerrealty.com. That does it for me. Yeah, you're
Stacey,
muted,
on
Stacey.
Sorry about that. All right. Thank you, Sergio. Let us go back to our LAER Program and Services Guide. There we go. All right. So you got to see most of the great marketing stuff available, and all of this is automated if you're a LAER agent. Also, one more thing, if you're a LAER agent, we automatically boost every new listing for 7 days on social media. This is a paid advertising campaign that we do. Originally, when we signed up for the paid advertising campaign, we did it to get our agents more leads. And you will get leads from it, but I always say they're a little bit cold. So the real value of this program is talking about it in your listing presentation, letting the seller know the extra work that you're going to do to promote their listing on social media. But it's important to note, if you're a LAER agent, typically when you list a property, you will start getting notifications of leads that are coming in for that property, but maybe they're not reaching back to you right away. It's just because the way the system works is that we do 7 days of a paid advertising boost, a little ad for your property. All the leads go directly to you. I always say to our agents, you'll get the email address for each lead that comes through. And of course, you should reach out multiple times. But if you don't get a response, just put that person into your news campaign, your email newsletter that goes out once a month. So that's a little bit on our boost campaign. We also have some professionally printed pieces that we drop ship to all of our offices. And with that, we have finished the first part of our book. As I mentioned at the beginning of the program, this booklet, the LAER Program and Services Guide, is divided into 4 sections. The first section is marketing. The second section is technology. The third section is training and education and coaching. And the fourth section is administrative support. We're now moving into the technology section, and we're going to briefly just go over a couple of things. First of all, as a LAER agent, there's certain pieces of technology you get for free. So dot loop or app files, depending on whether you're New England or Florida, that's our transaction management system. Showing time, Cloud CMA we have an upgraded version of Cloud CMA with really beautiful listing presentation in it. Boost by HomeSpotter, which is the social media platform I just showed you. And G Suite. These are all complementary technology. In addition, agents often ask, is there a fee associated, like a tech fee, to be part of LAER? And the answer is maybe. We have an optional $39 per month tech package. You don't have to sign up for it. Some agents have their own technology that they prefer, like a CRM program or website program. Our $39 per month bundle comes with 3 products. One is Isact, which is a set it and forget it marketing system. We love Isact because it's very simple to use, especially just for email newsletters. So we tell our agents, just set up. It's a one-time setup. Our team, by the way, can help you with that setup, but it's a one-time setup. And then you, moving forward, just have to add the consumers into your database. So you have to put names and emails into your database each week, and that person will get an email newsletter from you. Set it and forget it. The second part of the $39 per month tech bundle is Boston Logic. Boston Logic is a website platform. So the website platform is beautiful. You'll get a beautiful website. However, and we create it all for you. We deliver it to you. There's classes available on how you can further update and customize your website. But one thing I always warn agents is don't spend so much time like laboring. I've seen real estate agents labor for hours and hours and hours over perfecting a website that nobody's ever going to see. What's more important than a website today is a Google business page. Because if somebody Googles you, they're going to see your Google business page before they see your website. So yes, should you have a website? I'd say yes, just like you should have a business card. Is it going to be a game changer for your business? Absolutely not. It's just something you kind of have to have. Anyways, part of the $39 per month bundle that we offer is a really nice website. The third part, which is the most important part of the $39 per month tech bundle, is Real Scout. Real Scout is a property search platform. What I went over earlier was that you have to be talking about Zillow in your buyer and listing presentations. Well, when you're talking about Zillow in your buyer presentation, then you have to give them another option. Like if they can't go to Zillow and look at real estate, then how are they going to know the new listings that come on the market? Well, some real estate agents use MLS. MLS usually has an okay search platform, but Real Scout has an incredible search platform, and it's kind of like having your very own Zillow. It's all branded to you though, and nobody's going to be making sales calls to your clients. So with that, we're going to have Ashley from our tech team do really quick 7 or 8 minute presentation on best practices for utilizing Real Scout. And with that, I'll introduce Ashley.
Hi, Stacey. Thank you. So I'm going to quickly put a link in the chat for anyone who's a LAER agent that does have the tech bundle and you want a 30-minute briefing call with me to go more in depth on Isact, Boston Logic, or Real Scout. So I did put that link in the chat. It's laerrealty.com/briefings. And I don't know, we do Canva, we do Boston Logic, we do Dot Loop. If you have, I think there's one for upcoming transactions. If you want to go over forms and stuff like that, you can do that on the laerrealty.com/briefings. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for, yes, my presentation that I have on Real Scout. Again, this is just a quick presentation that I came up with on some quick tips on how to get started with Real Scout. I apologize, my internet's a little slow today. All right, so the first thing that I like to do is introduce the Real Scout app. So there are 2 different versions for that app. There is one for the agents. So if it is the agent app on your phone. And again, the icon can vary whether or not you have an iOS or Android. So you want to make sure that if you are an agent and you are downloading the app, that you have the black background with the white house and the pro across the top. If it is a client that wants to download the Real Scout app, they would download the Real Scout home search. You would download the Real Scout agent dashboard if you are an agent. And again, a good way to tell the difference is the client version has a white background with the black house. The agent has the black background with the white house. So that is how you can download the app for whatever phone system you have. The next thing is that there is a unique sign up link for each person that does have Real Scout. So if you wanted to market your Real Scout platform, you would click on this button right here that's in your dashboard, and it would give you a couple of different links that you just copy. So once you do market my Real Scout platform, these are the links that it gives you that you can put on Facebook, you can put in Instagram, you can put in your email signature. So there's a lot of the variation with the different links that you can do to market your Real Scout platform. The next thing is how to verify your MLS that you are in. So once you go to create a client or create alert, it's gonna come up with this box. You're gonna select what type of alert you are creating, whether it be a listing alert, a market activity alert, or a home value alert. And right here where it says data feed / property class is where you would see which MLS you are in. So when I did this little snippet right here, it says cross MLS search / basic criteria, because it's pulling from both of the MLSs that I have linked to my Real Scout. So I have New Hampshire and Massachusetts. If you just have one, it would just give the one MLS that you're in. So if you're only licensed in Massachusetts, it will say MLS PIN. It will not give you the cross MLS search that I have. So for me, when I am setting up a client, I need to select whether or not I'm setting them up in pardon me, I keep hitting the button to go forward. So when I'm setting up a client, I need to select whether I'm setting them up in Massachusetts or in New Hampshire or both. So if I do both, it would be the cross MLS search, and it would just be a basic search. It wouldn't give me any of the extra features that you can do in a Real Scout for search criteria. So once you enter their first and last name, or before you enter their name and email, you would click add client or alert right here, this big blue button. You would go through, enter their email, enter their first and last name. I am gonna update this presentation because Real Scout did add some buttons down on the bottom, so you can select if they're a buyer, a seller, and a seller, or other. So I am gonna go through and update this presentation to reflect the changes that Real Scout recently implemented this week. Once you have that information set up, you just go through and enter your criteria. So if it's for sale, if it's a lease, your price, square feet, lot size, and anytime you add an additional criteria or you add more criteria, your search results up here are going to go down. So depending upon what you enter, it can go down significantly or it can just go down by 1 or 2. It all depends on the criteria that you're entering. Once you enter the criteria and you save it to a client, it's going to ask you which client you want to assign it to. It's going to ask you if you want to name the search, and then it's also going to ask you for an alert schedule. I always do the alert schedule as ASAP, and that means anytime something comes onto Real Scout, it's going to notify your clients, and you can have it selected to notify you as well. So if this box, send copy to myself, is checked off, you're going to get the same exact email that your clients get. So for example, if you have Jane Smith, who is looking in Chelmsford, 123 Main Street, Chelmsford, comes on, she gets an email, you're gonna get that same email that she is. So if you're on the road, you don't have to worry about signing into MLS or signing into Real Scout. You can just take a quick look at that listing right in your email. when you are setting up your search parameters, there are a couple different ways that you can search. So you can draw your own outline. You can draw a polygon of a specific area. You can draw a rectangle, or you can do a radius. So if somebody wants to be within 5 miles from where they currently are, or 5 miles from, let's say, you know, Route 3 and 495 where those meet, you can go ahead and zoom in on the map and do a radius that way to search for their houses. Or to enter their criteria. You can also search by school district. So this is one of the specialty ways you can search in Real Scout if you are not in the cross MLS or cross criteria. So this would just be for if you are in one MLS. So if you have somebody who wants to be in a particular school district, or if they have children that they need to have go to a specific elementary school, you can put that in your search field. If you have somebody who wants to be in a specific condo association or development or subdivision, you can also search by that. You can update your client search at any time by going into the contacts field on the left on the navigation pane, and then you would just click the contact name that you wanted to update. So you would click on my name, it would bring up my profile. You would click on the edit button under the alert that you wanted to edit. So if you wanted to edit their market activity alert, you could edit that, or you could edit their criteria. Once you click edit, it's going to bring up the criteria fields. Just click that edit button, and then it's going to bring you back to this where you can go in and update any criteria. Once you save the updated criteria, it's going to ask if you want to send the updates to those clients. And if you click send now, it will send any updates to the client. If you click do not send, it's not going to send them. The next thing that Real Scout implemented, I think towards the end of last year, I want to say it was this auto nurture feature for clients. I always have this feature enabled because what it does is if there is not any listings that match your client's criteria, but they've been looking at 2 bedrooms, 1 bath house instead of 3 bedroom, 1 bath house, Real Scout will automatically update their email drip campaigns to what the relevant listings that they've been looking at. So I always have a feature enabled. You can disable it and assign it to specific clients. I have it enabled for all of my clients. So all of my clients are always getting something from Real Scout. Again, automation. We love automation, especially us being busy realtors. The next thing is the monthly market activity report. I like to call this report or a heat map report, because what you can do with this is enter a specific town. And then once you enter the specific town, you can enter a minimum price and a maximum price, and it will give you how many buyers have been in that specific area over that specific time frame. So right here in Manchester, we can see when I did this, we can see where the relatively popularity listings were by looking at all of these colors right here. And it tells us the number of active buyers and the number of buyer interactions. This was over the last 90 days when I was doing the snippet, but you can change it to the 60, 30, 180. So there are different variations for the time frames. It also gives you a graph of a breakdown of how many buyers there were on a specific day. It gives you the top viewed listings. So the way I use this is not only with buyers when I'm writing an offer for them. I go in here and I see if the house that we're writing an offer for is a top viewed listing, because then I'm gonna structure our offer differently. Instead of a 30-day close, we might do a 21-day close if the lender can do it. We might put a cap on home inspection repairs to make our offer more attractable to the seller. On the flip side, when I am going to a listing appointment, I use this because you might have a client who's up here with price, but your CMA, your research shows you should be down here. So I use this with my sellers to show them what's going on in their neighborhood, you know, where the populated homes are, what the recent listings are, and then they can see the actual evidence, not just the numbers. They're actually getting physical evidence from a search platform. And I do want to caveat that this data is only pulled from data within Real Scout. It does not take into account any data from MLS. The next thing is that you can use it to properly price a property, which I just went over. So the same idea, you would just create the search and the minimum and maximum price for the specific area of where your listing is. Again, you would zoom into that specific part of that town or city as to where the house is. And why Real Scout is better than Zillow or Realtor.com is because it's above average search experience for clients, but not only for clients, for you as their agent. And what I mean by that is once clients get a notification that they have a house matched, they can go into their side of the Real Scout platform and they can like and dislike certain features. And that will show up in your live feed. Whereas in MLS, you just get, okay, they liked a property, they disliked a property, but what about that property did they like or not like, right? So it's more interactive. There's new property alerts daily when properties hit the market or when they change prices. You can do the auto nurture feature, which has this algorithm to find them the perfect home. The mobile app, so you can see what your clients are looking at when you're on the go. And then you can integrate it with real estate lead platforms. So it does have some integration. And then again, Zillow and why you should be talking to your buyers and sellers about Zillow, why they shouldn't be using Zillow. And some of the reasons are because they can't narrow their search down. It doesn't have real-time update like Real Scout and MLS. Their estimates are very inaccurate. And Zillow's in the business of selling your information to other people. And most of the time when you call somebody off of Zillow, you think it's going to be the listing agent and it's not the listing agent. So that is why we steer our clients off of Zillow. And with that, that ends my presentation. So I am going to hand it back over to Stacey.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, let's go back to our LAER program guide. We have 10 minutes left and we have a lot to cover. So don't go anywhere. We're going to make sure that we are providing value all the way up to the very last minute of today's program. So let's see. Need to reshare my screen. Oops. Okay, we are back at our LAER program and services guide, and the piece that Ashley just showed you is so important only because it is truly having your own Zillow. Like you become your own Zillow when you have a really good search platform, and we think Real Scout does all of that. Okay, third section of our LAER program and services guide. The good news is we went through most of this already when we were on LAER Agent Services, because we do have a career development section under the LAER Agent Services. So first off, what we talked about was the Alcorn program. This is our agent business growth system. This is a workbook designed to get agents to 30 transactions a year for their business. And it is built off the checklist manifesto that if you do certain things, if you have a certain input into your business, you can expect a particular output, which is 30 transactions a year. So this whole system is built off of 7 simple checklists: a yearly checklist, a monthly checklist, a weekly checklist, as well as a new buyer, new seller, new listing, and a client appreciation or people appreciation event checklist. So you can download it if you go to our LAER Agent Services and move down to the career development section. You can actually download our Alcorn business growth system as well. If you're a LAER agent, we provide these as part of when we send you your welcome box, you should have received a copy of the Algorwin booklet. I mentioned that all of our training, we do live training every single week at LAER. All of our live training gets recorded and then we post it to first YouTube, and then also much of our training also ends up at laeruniversity.com. We just have tons and tons of content. So our most recent training programs are on YouTube, and then we clean off our YouTube station every once in a while, and then we put everything over at LAER University. We already went through the blueprint. Like, we have a great section at laerrealty.com/transaction blueprint. That was the section for brand new real estate agents. It had like the guide to home inspections, etc. In addition to all the webinars we do and live stream training classes we do, we also offer live training, like in-person training programs each month. One of the big events that we offered last year was a live event featuring Tom Ferry. By the way, you can go watch that event. We posted it to our YouTube station after. But we also believe in the power of bringing our agents together regularly through birthday luncheons, award programs, networking events, training classes. So as much as we do a lot of live stream classes, we also definitely see the value of having agents come together on a regular basis to learn and thrive together. I also mentioned that we have a phenomenal coaching program. Coaching's wonderful if you like accountability. So our entire coaching program is now based on the Algorwin growth system. So as part of the coaching program, you get signed up. The workbook that you will work off of is the Algorwin workbook, but the coach is also provided additional materials that we call force multiplier supplements that are used during each coaching call. 2 coaching calls a month for 6 months. Those force multiplier supplements are the keys to unlocking. How do you get the stuff done? Typically, if you're in coaching, it's because the Algorwin booklet or the Algorwin growth system workbook tells you everything you need to be super highly successful in real estate. The problem is you get stuck. There's certain things you just don't do from the book. So the coaching program is designed to figure out, like, what is holding you back from accomplishing the tasks that are going to lead to success. You could sign up for LAER coaching at laerrealty.com/LAER coaching. The very last section of our book is agent support services. This is for the LAER agents. All I want you to know, if you're a LAER agent, is that you have support 7 days a week. If you need anything for your business, the best way to get help at our company is to email happyagent@laerrealty.com. The Happy Agent system is our support system. So when you email Happy Agent, it goes into a support ticket program, and your question that you need help with gets assigned to one of 50+ staff members. The reason why we like the support to come in that way is because then we can track the trajectory of your request and make sure that you get the help you need every single time. So you need anything, email our team 7 days a week at happyagent@laerrealty.com. One other thing I want to point out for every real estate agent, there is a page on page 33 of the LAER Program and Services Guide. There's a section in there called Generating Leads. So on this page, it lists 2 different types of lead platforms. There are referral fee-based lead platforms on the left and subscription-based lead platforms on the right. The ones that you want to focus on here are the referral fee-based lead platforms. That's all the ones over on this left-hand side. When you're in the guide, when you open the booklet, these are all clickable links. So It's worth taking about 2 hours and clicking through each one. These are companies that you can sign up for leads, and you just pay a referral fee if you end up closing the transaction. So you're not committing to any expenses or anything like that. You're just telling the company, hey, if I close on a lead that you give me, I'll pay you X percentage. Each company is a little bit different as to what they charge. I think the norm is around 35%. Even if the company has a wait list, still sign up. The wait list on some of these companies is designed to determine your level of persistence. Because if you stop and you don't sign up, they don't want you. So sign up, even if there's a wait list, so that you are in the running for consideration for business. We also have some great transaction coordinating services. If you're an agent that hates paperwork, or you're trying to get to your next level of growth, we have a phenomenal in-house transaction coordinating team. As well, this is really important. If you are a LAER agent and you want to have a voice in the tools, the training, and the technology available at LAER, please go to laerrealty.com/committees. I always say all the good things in our company are a byproduct of agents taking an interest, agents telling us, like, what do we need to be better and to provide more resources for our agents? The way that we hear you is through these committees. Our committees meet once a month, and they are the ones that determine what new technology, what new training programs, etc., are being offered. And then you got to hear today from our sustainability team and Craig Foley. Craig is our Chief Sustainability Officer. Wonderful for teaching classes and educating us on what is happening when it comes to high performance homes. I also like to always make a plug for being a realtor. I believe in being a realtor. I believe that the reason our industry is still so vibrant is because of the realtor organization. There are many businesses that have gone by the wayside for the most part. The yellow taxi, the travel agent, even hotels now are going through massive changes because of Airbnbs. The National Association of Realtors protects our business and advances rights for real estate agents, buyers, and sellers. So, huge proponent of the National Association of Realtors. I understand it's an expense, somewhere around $600 a year. The $600 that you contribute to being a realtor, that protects the industry. It is then up to you to create value out of the $600 that you have invested in being a realtor. So one of the ways you can do that simply is through RPR. But there's all kinds of resources that you can tap into so that you extract $600 or more, $600 of value from your investment. Want to go back to the reminder from the beginning of today's program about that checklist of things that you're going to go execute on. Knowledge is not power, execution is power. You want to have 5 or 10 items. Please, before you walk away from your computer, make sure you write your list of things that you're going to go work on after you leave today's program. You can always come back next month. So 2 things to know, that because we covered so much, you might say, hey, I wrote down 50 things I have to go execute on. Don't focus on the 50. Pick 5 or 10 that you're going to go execute on, and then join us next month or join us in 2 months. It's normally the first Friday of every month. You can join us again. Just go to laerrealty.com/bootcamp. As well, you can always head over to youtube.com/LAER training and watch the replay of today's program. And with that, we have lots of offices. I want to make one more note out to any of you that are joining us today that are not LAER agents, we'd be super interested in talking to you if you want to learn more about LAER. Even if we're not in your market, we want to be in your market. So if you like any of the stuff you heard today, we would love the opportunity to show you. You got a great idea today of the tools, the training, and the technology. But you couple that with really aggressive compensation programs, and we're just a fun, great company to work for. And with that, I want to thank Ashley, Craig, Sergio for another great event. And thank you to all of you for spending an entire morning with us, learning new ways to go and grow an incredible business. We wish you much success. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.